How you doing? I'm Jared Sweeney, and I'm from Purcell High School, and I'm talking about Purcell football history. Now, history from Purcell football has been going around for a long time, and it has had its ups and downs. And, the best thing about Purcell, though, is their community always comes out and supports them all the time, No matter how the season's going, we still have a great community that supports the team and cheers for the team. So that's really, really good about Purcell is they're not bandwagon people. They're here and they're here for good, and that's what I love about Purcell. And being a football player, we always have these dreams of playing at the next level, and that's hard to get to, playing at the next level, and then for most of us it's pipe dreams to even play at the level beyond that. So, it's hard to come from a small town and go that far. But fortunately, Purcell has had the privilege to have had one of those players and not only go from Purcell to college football and compete, actually, but he actually made it to the NFL and played on a Super Bowl winning team. His name's Clifford Thrift, and he played for the '85 Bears. Probably one of the most popular teams in NFL history. So it's a real honor and privilege that we recently have got to interview him and his coaches and even one of his players that he played with here at Purcell as the 50th Super Bowl is coming up. The Super Bowl committee is giving out gold balls to every high school. So he is going to be here and he's going to present us with a gold ball here at Purcell, and that's a really big thing because it's hard to get there. And there's not very many people that have gone and done what he's done, so it's really amazing. So here's our interviews. This is Dick Gray, Coach Gray's brother, our own Coach Gray here. He played with Clifford Thrift, who is coming by today to give us a gold ball and the ceremony and stuff. I do have some questions for Coach Gray here. What kind of relationship did you have with Mr. Thrift?
Clifford was a sophomore when I was a senior, so I think things are like they always have. We kind of picked on him. He's a sophomore, but not much because he was really tough. He didn't get the brunt of it that everyone else did.
Okay. Did you think at that time that he was going to become a leader on the team or even was a leader?
Quietly he was. Being a sophomore, that's kind of a tough road to take because we had some really good players. We had an all-state tackle and we had our quarterback signed with OU, and so we had some really good players, but everybody knew Clifford was going to be really, really good as he got older.
Okay, and that kind of tells us what kind of teammate he was. He was
really good, really supportive. He was fun to be around. There was always something happening. He was a great teammate, really supportive. He played mostly defense for us.
Yeah.
My senior year, his sophomore year, so he wasn't much on the offensive side, but he was good. Good guy to be around.
Did you keep in touch with him after high school, or?
We would bump into each other in Norman,
mostly
at the Mont, eating dinner and this, that, and the other. So, just
okay,
like that.
Okay. What did you think about when you heard that he was going to the NFL?
We were all happy as we could be. I never knew anybody played in the NFL. I didn't know anybody knew anybody played in the NFL. And when he went to East Central, played at East Central, and then got drafted, we were all happy as we could be. It was like we had all made it.
Yeah.
When he made it.
Now, what did you think about him being on the Super Bowl winning team?
We were just ecstatic. We had watch parties to watch the Super Bowl, just, waiting for him to be able to get in the ball game and stuff like that. It's like we all won it.
Yeah. When was the last time you saw Mr. Thrift?
It's been, I guess, three years ago maybe. He usually came back and spoke to the team when they had the spring practice and they had all the alumni back. He would come back every year and speak to the team, and I guess probably about 3-4 years ago. At that.
Okay.
Was the last time I saw him.
Now, do you have any memory of, like a special memory of him and you? Or?
I played center. He played nose guard back then. They ran a five front. and he played in front of me every day, every play. And I wasn't that good, but as good as I was because I had to practice against him every day. So that's probably my relationship with Clifford, as we called him. Cliff, as he's called now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate it.
How you guys doing? I'm Jared Sweeney, and this is
Milt Bassett.
Yes. He's came in. He was the coach for Clifford Thrift when he was a player here at Purcell High School. What kind of player was Clifford?
I was just telling one that walked in out there in the commons area a moment ago. He's probably the most dedicated football player that I've ever coached. All he cared about was getting better, working harder, and becoming as good as he could be. And we had just introduced in those days the weight program. Nowadays everybody does it, but at that time we had gotten a weight machine, you know, those old stacked weights that they used to use and a few free weights. I'd have to run him out of the weight room so I could go home in the evening, or he'd stay in there all night.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of player he was, and then it paid off. Every year after he went to college, he got bigger, he got faster, and the rest is history when he signed with San Diego.
Yeah. Now, what can you say about his home life that you think might have contributed to his?
Well, you know, we didn't know his parents as well as some. They didn't come around much, but we knew his dad ruled the roost, and they all kind of did what he said. And then he had a little brother, David, who later passed away, but they were always the most disciplined, which I knew came from home, respectful towards elders and all of that. So I didn't know them well, but we knew that they came from a family that they knew how to act and what to do, and it paid off, I know, in their later life.
Now, did you stay in touch with Clifford after high school?
You know, he went to East Central. I was telling them the story earlier. He had made All-State, and they were at the All-State game and at linebacker, and the Oil Bowl coaches, which is an old game that Oklahoma used to play with Texas, hadn't picked him up yet. So we came home, he was really disappointed. We came back to Purcell and they hadn't picked him up. Well, one of the Oil Bowl coaches from Lindsay that I knew had called and said, we need Clifford down here today in Wichita Falls. And I called Clifford, we got his uniform and his pads, and he took off. Now, he told me that he drove to Wichita Falls from Purcell in 45 minutes. I find that hard to believe. But he was known to drive fast anyhow, so he might have done that and did well. And then I stayed pretty much in touch with him from time to time when he was over at East Central. And then the only other time, well, we conferred a little bit through his pro career, but at one time when I was coaching at UConn, where Garth Brooks was my quarterback, he came by and spent the night with us, and we went to, there's a place in Okarche called Ishans that has the best chicken in town. We went over and fed him at Ishans. But then as we got older, we didn't stay in touch on a regular basis.
Yeah.
No.
How did it make you feel when he got drafted, and knowing that you got to coach him?
Well, it makes you, you know, I was really happy for him because I think he knew from the time he started playing football that that's what he wanted to do, make some pro team. Which I think I saw a stat on that one time, like 1% of all of the football players on every level have it, you know, make it. It's something really ridiculously low like that. So I was happy for him because I knew that's all he wanted to do. He worked so hard over at East Central. You know, when he was in high school, he even ran track. He ran on the short relay and the mile relay, increased his speed, and I was happy for him. I don't know that I could take any credit for how he got there, but I mean, I knew what he wanted, and he was able to do that, so that made us all happy.
And last thing, is there any kind of memory, like one that really sticks out to you about him?
I can think of so many, but one that we just talked about earlier is we were over at Winniewood, I believe, playing a game when he was in high school, and he got injured. He hurt his neck, and we had some guys, I think that Tom Curdy just told me, he said we carried him off. When we got back, I sent him to Oklahoma City to an orthopedic surgeon, and or neurologist or whatever the heck they would have been at that time. And unbeknownst to me and the coaches, they said something was wrong with his neck, and they put a full cast around his neck,
really?
over his shoulders, under his arm, about halfway down here on his chest. And so over the weekend, he said he got real claustrophobic in this. So he got his little brother, David, and they got a chisel and a hammer, and they cut it off. Now get this, we didn't know this. He came in on Monday, and I said, "What'd the doc say?" He said, "I'm good to go." And
Really?
he practiced the rest of the time, never had another problem with it, anything. But, you know, not knowing that, and then had there been something serious,
Yeah.
it'd been awful. But
Yeah.
that was one story that we really thought about over the years, that he did that.
Yeah, that's
Pretty,
something right
pretty
there.
dedicated.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Hi, I'm here with Clifford Thrift. He graduated in 1974. He was on the 72 state championship team. He also went on to go to college at ECU, and also went to the pros and was on the Bears '85 Super Bowl team. Clifford, what was it like in high school when you were here?
A lot different than it is now, obviously. Yeah, it was. I met your coach over at what is now, I guess, the junior high school.
Yeah.
And when I went to school at Purcell, one of that hallway's like an L shape, and one hallway was basically senior high, and one hallway was junior high.
Really?
And everybody from 7th to 12th grade was in the same building.
Man. Do you have a favorite coach from your high school?
Oh, it's hard to say. I had some great ones. I mean, some really, really, really what I felt like good ones that made a huge influence on my life. The coach my junior year was Bob Holliday. He actually went to my house and asked my dad to let me play, because my sophomore year in high school I didn't get to play football because Dad said it interfered with my chores. And so the coach said, "Hey, we think your son could be a pretty good player if you let him come." And he said, "No, he's got to do his chores." And I said, "Dad, please, I really want to play." And he said, "You really want to play that bad?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Okay, you can play." He said, "But the first time your chores aren't done, then you're off the team." And so that was,
Yeah.
I mean, so I got to be thankful to Holiday for coming and getting my dad to let me play. And then my senior year, we had a coaching change, and Milton Bassett came in, and I had a wonderful relationship with Milton Bassett that continues to this day.
Yeah. Did you play any other sports while you were in high school?
Yes, I ran track mainly because I was always trying to get faster, but the main goal for me was do anything I could do that would make me a better football player.
What was your favorite memory about football from high school?
Undoubtedly when we won the state championship.
Really?
I mean, that was a really, really good time for me when we won the state championship, and meant that we couldn't go any higher, we couldn't do any better that year than we did that game. And I really, really cherished that 72 state championship.
Yeah. I got to talk to Coach Gray earlier about it too, and he said that one of his memories about you most was going up against you during practice every single day, and he said that was really special to him. And what do you think? What do you think about your other teammates that were on that team?
It's really ironic. There were, I can't think of a single guy on that team that I didn't like. You always have somebody you don't like in whatever you're doing. Whether it's a team, a football team, or a coworker, or whatever. You come across somebody you don't really care for. But I really can't think of anybody off of that team that I didn't really, really, truly like, and felt like I had a good relationship with every guy on that team. And I think that helped. That team, I think everybody felt that way, and I think that's what brought that team together and why we won a state championship.
Yeah. What was one thing that you think that you missed the most about high school? About yourself?
The youth. Yeah, just simply, the things that you take for granted, in high school. There's just no way you're going to really, truly appreciate those until you've lived a little history. You know, they say it takes living history to appreciate history, and I've really truly learned that.
Really. Now, what do you think that you get any kind of special treatment or anything because you did go to the Super Bowl and win? Or do you think that?
No, there's no question. I mean, wherever I go, and I wear that ring. I don't keep it at home in a trophy case or anything like that. I mean, what's the use in having the dang thing if you're not going to wear it?
Yeah.
And so I wear it around, and of course I have lots of people. I used to have a lot of people say, "Is that a Big 8 championship ring?" And I said, "No, that's a world champion Super Bowl ring." And,
Really?
and then of course they always, you know, are curious, well, who did you play for? And
Yeah.
what position did you play, and all that kind of thing. So a lot of the times it's just an immediate conversation starter.
Yeah.
And I like to talk to people. I don't have any problem with that, and I in general like people, so it's a good thing for me.
Now, what about the Super Bowl team? Did that stand out to you? Like,
There again, that team was like the '72 state championship. The two common denominators are work together as a team, play like you're playing for family. You know, you always go a little harder for your family. I mean, you work harder in practice, and then you play harder on game day. And I think it's really important to have that family feel. A very good friend of mine, Ron Rivera, who's the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, he played on that Super Bowl team, and Ron and I were very good friends. I've known him all these years, and he's trying to establish that same feeling that we had when the '85 Bears came together as a family.
yeah.
And he's trying to create that in Carolina, and has obviously been successful with it so far. He's got one more game.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for.
Thank you very much.